Alright, to begin, the question tells us that the average of 4 numbers is 40. So, using the following rule, we know that the sum of those 4 numbers must be 4 times 40, or 160. Similarly, the question tells us that the average of 2 numbers is 30. So, using our same rule, we know that the sum of those 2 numbers must be 2 times 30, or 60. Now, from these 2 equations, we can conclude that C plus D must equal 100. Now, there are several possible solutions to this equation. Here's one of them. In this solution, D equals 99.9. Now, keep in mind that we could make the value of D even greater by reducing the value of C. All we need to know here, though, is that column A is equal to a number greater than 99.9. As such, column A is greater than column B, which means our answer is A. To begin, it should be pointed out that this information up here about the average being equal to 2k minus 1 does not play any role whatsoever in answering our question. It is meant to intentionally complicate a relatively straightforward question. So to solve this question, we're going to let x equal this first number. This means that x plus 1 will equal the second number, x plus 2 the third number, and so on. We want to find the difference between the greatest number and the smallest number. So, the largest number will be equal to x plus 4, and our smallest number is equal to x. So as you can see, our difference is 4, and our answer is A.
Set A consists of the consecutive integers x, y, and z, where x is less than y is less than z. 8, 9, and 10 are added to each member of the set respectively. That means 8 is added to x, 9 is added to y, and 10 is added to z. To create a new set called B, if the median of set B is equal to 3x, which is 3 times this first number, what is the average of the values in set A? The first thing we want to do is, as x, y, and z are consecutive integers, instead of using 3 different variables, why not write them all in terms of one single variable? So let's say this one, of course, is x. So this one is going to be x plus 1, and this one is going to be x plus 2. So our 3 integers are x, x plus 1, and x plus 2. And 8, 9, and 10 are added to each one of them respectively. So if we add 8 to x, we get x plus 8. If we add 9 to x plus 1, we get x plus 1 plus 9, that's x plus 10. And if we add 10 to x plus 2, we get x plus 12. So these are the numbers in set B. And the median of set B is an ordered list, so the median of this is going to be x plus 10, the middle number. The x plus 10, the median, is given to be equal to 3x. This is the key in this problem. And then we can solve for x, take x on the other side, meaning subtract x from both sides. So we have 2x is equal to 10, and therefore x is equal to 5. So we have our numbers. The numbers are 5, 6, and 7. And therefore we need to find the average of the values in set A, which is 5, 6, and 7. The average of 5, 6, and 7. Well, you can add them up and divide with 3. But the easier way, the quicker way is to note that these numbers are equally spaced, and for an equally spaced set of numbers, the mean is equal to the median, which is 6. So the answer is 6.
To solve this question, I'm going to take our 4 numbers and arrange them in ascending order. Now we're told that the median of these 4 numbers is 19. So from this we can conclude 2 things. First of all, we know that the average of our 2 middle numbers will be 19. And we also know that 2 of our 4 numbers will be greater than 19, and 2 of our numbers will be less than 19. Now, since 2 of our numbers must be less than 19, we now know that 8 and 11 can be placed right here. Now let's find the value of this number. Earlier, we determined that the average of these two middle numbers must be 19. So from this, we can conclude that our third number is equal to 27. Now what about the last box? Well, we know that these numbers are arranged in ascending order, so our last box could have the value of 27, or any number greater than 27. Now, since x and y will be assigned either of these two values, we can now conclude that x is equal to either 27 or a number greater than 27. So from this, we know that column A must be greater than column B, in which case our answer is A. To calculate our average, we need the sum of all multiples from 10 to 400, and we'll divide this by the total number of values we added together. Let's work on our sum. Notice that if we factor a 10 out of this, we get the sum of numbers from 1 to 40 in our brackets. This tells us that we have a total of 40 values that we're adding together. So we can add this up here. Now let's work on the sum. The sum of integers from 1 to 40 can be calculated using this nice formula. It says that the sum of numbers from 1 to n will equal n times n plus 1 divided by 2. So the sum of numbers from 1 to 40 will equal 40 times 41 divided by 2. We can evaluate this to be 820, so we find that the total sum is 8,200, which we can add up here. Finally, we can evaluate this to find that our average is 205, meaning that our answer is D. This question can be answered quickly if you are familiar with the following rule. It says that if we have a set of consecutive integers, then the mean of that set will be equal to the median of the same set. So let's let these 7 blanks represent our integers written in ascending order. Then our middle term, our median, will equal k plus 2. From here we know our next term will be k plus 3, then k plus 4, and then k plus 5. The third term will be k plus 1, the second term will be k, and the first term, the least term, will be k minus 1. So the greatest and least integer multiplied together will equal k squared plus 4k minus 5. So our answer is E.
This is a very good number sense problem. We have a set of 4 positive integers, the range is 60, and the median is 50. What is the highest possible value of the largest number in the set? Well, the median is 50. It means that the two middle numbers have to be symmetrically distributed around 50. And so 50 minus D and 50 plus D. Those are the two middle numbers. The low number has to be less than that. Technically, it could be less than or equal to that. And then the highest number would be that low number plus 60. And we'd like to get that as big as possible. So notice that getting the highest number as big as possible means we want to get the lowest number big as possible. Well, first of all, since this has to be lower than this, what's the highest we can make this? Well, we could have D equals 0. We could have the two middle numbers equaling 50. Well, then if the two numbers in the middle are equaling 50, there's no reason that the lowest number can't also be 50. And then we'd have 110. So in other words, that low number can't be higher than the median, but it could be equal to the median. So the median of this set is indeed 50. That's between the two middle numbers, so it is 50. And the highest number here is 110. And so the answer is answer choice E. So this is a weighted average. 20% of the employees have advanced degrees and 80% have bachelor's degrees. So the 20% that have advanced degrees have a salary of $350,000. Let's just drop off the last 3 zeros to simplify things. That is 0.2 times 350 plus 0.8 times 100. Well, 0.2 times 350. 0.1 times 350 would be 35, so double that. 0.2 times 350 would be 70. And then, of course, 0.8 times 100 is 80. 70 plus 80 is 150. So that means that the average salary for everyone, the weighted average, is $150,000.
The first part of this question tells us that the average of 3 numbers is 9. So using this rule, we know that the sum of those three numbers will equal 3 times 9, or 27. Now if we subtract 15 from both sides of this equation, we get the new equation, x plus y equals 12. The second part of our question tells us that the average of three different numbers is 7. So using our same rule, we know that the sum of those three numbers will equal 3 times 7, or 21. If we subtract 2 from both sides of this equation, we get the new equation, x plus 2y equals 19. We now have two equations with two variables. If we subtract the second equation from the first equation, we get y equals 7. So our answer is C.